What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In the last video I showed you guys how I opened up the TL headlights. Now we can finally start modding. I'm going to show you guys how I got the clear diffuser look on the Jeep. So whatever year TL you own, they'll have these plastic reflectors as part of the headlight bezel. To get that all chrome look, you just have to remove that plastic amber piece and that's it. Put the headlight together and you're good to go. To me, that wasn't enough. I like that all clear look. That's why I decided to make my own clear lens to cover up that chrome area. The material that is being used to get that clear lens is an acrylic lens light, the same ones that are used to cover fluorescent ceiling lights. They sell these at Lowe's or Home Depot. Pretty much just pick the style that you're going for. At the time, they only had this one pattern. First step is to remove the headlight bezel from the headlight lens. It's literally being held on by two screws. Take those off and we should be able to remove the bezel. Be careful not to pull too hard and break anything. After all, it is plastic. Break off these 5 tabs holding down the bezel in place. Don't forget about this chrome trim piece. Mine's black because of me modding it the first time. Now it's not necessary to pull this off, but I did it anyways to show how to disassemble the whole bezel for future mods. Now we need to make a template for the clear lens. There's 2 ways to do this. Either trace the amber reflector or trace inside the bezel. I found it a lot easier to trace inside the bezel. Take your time with this to make sure it's accurate. The better job you do with this, the less time and effort you will spend cutting. After you are satisfied with the template, take your sheet of clear lens and trace out the template that we just made. The light diffuser has 2 different sides, one textured and one flat. Make sure to trace on the flat side so that the textured side is facing inside the bezel. This will create the light diffusing effect when the turn signal bulb is on. I ended up laying painter's tape down to help draw the template. It's a lot easier to see and trace out. Now we're ready to cut. I definitely recommend safety glasses and a mask. This stuff gets everywhere and creates tons of material dust. I started cutting a few millimeters from the line. You can always cut away, but you cannot add. You can trim the excess, and that's exactly what I did. When I got that basic shape of the lens, I would lay it in the bezel and see where I need to trim. After cutting, and test fitting a few times. Now we're ready to mount it in the headlight bezel. Let's not forget about the little trim piece. You can install an LED strip in there, but I don't really like that look. So I chose to install that piece back. Drop in a little glue or adhesive you have and let it dry. So to help the clear lens sit flush with that trim area, make sure those tabs are nice and flat. Also, I added a little adhesive on the back of that trim piece to help it stay in place. Here's a look at the diffuser inside the bezel. It actually just drops right in, but nothing is really holding it in place. Once again, the bezel is thin plastic and can break. I accidentally broke it at one of the ends. Luckily, it's barely noticeable and can be fixed with some adhesive. So I'm still not sure if this is the best way to mount the lens, but this is what works for me. I use clamps to hold it in place while I lay down the silicone at the very ends where the bezel and clear lens meet. This stuff dries in 30 minutes and cures in a few hours, but I let it dry and checked fitment on one side before moving on. This stuff does go on clear, so it's very hard to see if I overdid it or not. I would definitely recommend some adhesive or glue that goes on clear because of that. Up close, you can see some excess. If that happens, try to clean it off before it dries. You'll see me use a hair tie because it was able to hold it in place without too much force. You can do the same with the masking tape if needed. It does look like I put a lot, but I just wanted to make sure it's not coming off. I was able to clean most of the excess that is noticeable. Here it is looking from the outside. You'll be able to see some flaws, but I'm happy with the results overall. After it's done drying, double check your work and we can start putting it back together. Installation is the same as removal. Just drop in and bolt the two screws. And the flaws that you saw earlier is barely noticeable once the bezel is inside the headlight lens. And we're finally finished. Don't mind the foggy headlight lens, it does need to be cleaned and cleared, but I'm going to do that after I'm done with all the mods. If you're interested in doing this mod, I'm going to list all the items I used in the description box below. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. In the next one, we're going to keep it going with the headlight mods. I'm going to show you how I modded the projectors. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.